All right. Well, it finally says that we're live. You know, God, we always got to do this.
We'll do it live.
Doing it
Time to
live.
do it live. Oh, Andy, wasn't that a total disaster?
Oh my goodness. Turning buttons, turning things off, resetting things.
Yeah,
But I
told
think
Greg.
we got to.
I told Greg, I'm like, go do your thing tonight. It's going to take Andy and I a minute. The Roadcaster 2 Pro, Andy, that certainly is your friend, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You sure about that?
Not completely.
Oh,
Or maybe
man.
it's because you're wearing that steel hat. You couldn't get the thing to start right.
That's actually pretty good. He's wearing the steel
That's
hat.
pretty
He can't
funny.
Start.
I am not a fan of steel.
Andy, has Greg
Well,
ever
you
told
know
you
what?
his woes with still?
No. But my opinion is starting to change on steel.
How so?
I went several years with no issues. And now the carburetors, you buy a new piece of equipment and that little screen clogs up. You got to take that out and clean it or just take it out completely. And they're getting harder and harder to start. That's my issues with them. I used to run Echo, and they lasted for years with no issue.
Really?
And it just seems like I'm having problem after problem with my steel.
It's interesting because we met a guy that he switched over to steel completely, and that's all he carries in his store. And he said because he got a better deal when he just carried that. I guess they gave him a really good deal, but I'm going, man, I just don't want to. I've had a few of them and they just don't start for me. So it's more than frustrating to me. So I've got a chainsaw that's getting ready to go in the garbage, and ever since I
You
bought
gotta burn it.
yeah. So maybe I should buy another chainsaw and chop it up.
Well, I've had steel for probably the last 10 years and haven't had any issues. And I went to all steel. I switched from Echo, went to all steel.
Why?
And now I'm fixing to go buy some new trimmers, and I'm thinking about going back to Echo. My Echoes really didn't give me a problem, but my dealer here in town is a steel dealer.
Really?
Okay.
So instead of being brand loyal, I went to where I could get the best customer service.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm tired of having problems getting things to start. And it's frustrating.
Sound like carburetor issues, Greg, right? I mean, I have a Stihl chainsaw. Those are either really hard or really impossible to start. The Stihl hand blowers were good. Then I was rocking the FS91Rs for a long time. I mean, I like the product, but not when it comes to starting it half the time. I have never had any problem with my Echo or Shindawa trimmers. I used to run Red Max. Those trimmers were fun too, but it was always a Stihl getting. It must have been something with like the carburetor or something like that, where they maybe the jets or the pins in them go bad over time. I don't know, but I mean, I like the look of Stihl. I think it's nice.
No, I
Well,
just
someone told me that.
go ahead, Andy.
Go ahead.
No, you're the guest. Go ahead.
Somebody told me that they switch carburetors. So when they switch these carburetors in the new stuff you buy, that's the ones that's having the issues. Because like I said, I went for years and had no issues. Didn't have any problems with my equipment starting. They ran like they should, and I was happy with them. But when Stihl switch carburetors, now there's issues after issue.
Have you tried Shindawa?
I don't have a dealer in my area. I think the closest one is about 35 miles from me.
Yeah, that's no
Oh,
good.
wow.
Well, we've
That's-
got how many
that's
people
far
carry
away.
Shindawa around us, Evan? You know, I've got
Oh,
and
yeah.
Echo's Shindawa, right? or Shindawa's Echo,
I think they are.
Yeah, Echo.
though.
Echo owns Shindawa. Shindawa is a subsidiary of Echo. They acquired them, I think, in the early 2000s. Cameron Duncan wants to know, Andy, what oil are you running in the stills?
I'm using the Steel Professional, I believe is the name of the 2-cycle oil that I'm using, and I'm running it 50-to-1 ratio.
See, I had my chainsaw, I couldn't get to start. I think it's a switch issue. My Echo Edger couldn't get it to start, and I think it was a carb issue. And then my Echo hedge trimmers, I'm sorry, Echo. Did I say Echo on the other ones? I meant to say Steel. My Steel
Yeah,
chainsaw,
Steel.
I think I had a switch issue with. My Steel Edger, I think it was a carb issue, and my hedge trimmers, they won't start for me easily. So and I just get too frustrated with it. It's like you said, it's no fun when you're trying to start it up. Silver or orange bottle? That's what.
Yeah, Cameron wants to know if it's a
Cameron
silver
wants to
or
know.
orange bottle, Andy.
I'm using the orange bottle.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe their 2-cycle oil did factor into it not working. I mean, my FS91R, when I had it, it actually ran fine. It was just getting harder to start towards the end. But I think, Greg, we put like Red Max 2-cycle oil because we ran Still and then Red Max back in the day. But I guess with Echo and Shindawa, I haven't had a problem. I know Sean Spencer, they've been running Still, but then they switched Savannah onto an Echo. It was a smaller Echo. What is that? What's the smaller Echo model number called? I'm drawing a blank. It's not the 2620. It's something else.
The 225.
Yeah, there it's at 225. That thing has some
Yeah.
guts.
Yeah, Cameron said your problem
That's what
is
I
the
had
orange
before
bottle.
I switched to steel.
Cameron said your problem is the orange bottle.
I can switch to the silver. That's not a problem.
Let's see what the issue is. What's the problem with the orange bottle, Cameron?
Yeah, Cameron, I never even heard of that. He'll have to tell us. We should just call him in. I should call him here on the show right
just,
now. And
Just log him in
Bluetooth.
too. Tell him to ask
Yeah.
him if he's available to pop on.
Yeah. I should just say, I think he's probably, I don't know, he's probably like relaxing, but I never even heard about it. I guess that what said the orange bottle's a problem, right? He said that?
Apparently, yeah, because that's what Andy said he's using, and Cameron said that's your problem.
Must be to run the silver HP Ultra. That's just what he says. I looked it up though. Like still orange 2-cycle. What is that?
See, I've been using the lately. I've been using that what is it, Red Max version.
Yeah.
And I use that on my 9010, my Echo, because I found out you're not supposed to use the Opti 2 on a 9010. Apparently it doesn't
figured
work
that
well.
one out.
Well, I was told that. It's not that I figured out. You had the issue. Mine, I didn't think I was having a problem, but I happened to be in the shop one day and I was talking to them about Opti 2 and they said you can't run it in your 9010. So I don't know what you're using. Echo Red Armor, he's saying, would be even better.
You should try putting Red Armor in that, Andy. I mean, you ever ran the Red Armor?
I've never ran that. I'm willing to try it. I'll pick some up tomorrow.
Yeah, give it a shot.
What blower do you have, Andy?
I have the Steel BR 800,
Now, is that the one
and
that
I
has
have
that
the
chip start?
Steel handheld. Yeah, I don't have any problem with it starting. No, it's not the side start. It's just the regular, pull start, not from the side. I'm a little leery about that side start. I'm not sure. I've had some guys tell me they've had issues with it, and then I've had other guys just love it. So when I buy new equipment, if I don't go back to all Echo, I might try one of those side starts.
See, Cameron says they came out with the silver about 15 years ago because everyone was having carb issues running the orange bottle. This is like a revelation tonight, right? I didn't know that.
Apparently, got to get with the times.
Yeah,
You had 15 years to try this, Andy. What's going on?
Andy's too busy
know
on the
it.
hustle.
I've been on this game for going on close to 17 years now, so
Oh, wow.
I've been around the block a time or two.
You got Evan beat. What are you, 15 years, Evan?
Yeah, I'm 15 years. Andy, so we brought you on. We kind of want to talk about this like a little bit because I mean we get all bunch of like different listeners. Then like why does Andy sound like he's whispering? Can you give us a short like synopsis of your testimony because you've been through the ringer with some stuff, but you never let any of you're never one to complain. I complain about everything. Trust me. Talk to Greg. He knows how much I complain.
Yeah,
Through
trust
all
him.
your
Trust him.
through your trials, Andy. Suffering never stopped you. So just give us a short synopsis of kind of where you are today and what God's really taught you through it all.
Well, I woke up one morning and I could not speak. I thought I had the flu or something and I just could not get anything come out. So my wife called our family doctor and I went in for an appointment. And he stuck a scope up my nose and down my throat and almost immediately pulled the scope out and said, you're going to surgery. And I said, what? When? He said, right now. He said, you have a tumor wrapping itself around your vocal cords and it's paralyzing your vocal cords. And we have to get that out. So I went in for surgery. 2 weeks later, I went back for a post-op appointment and the tumor had grown back. Another surgery. That happened 8 times. On the 8th time or the 9th time, I started having problems. I was having trouble breathing. And I called the doctor and he said, I'll meet you in the ER. So I go to the ER and he scoped me. He pulled it out and he said, you have to have a radical surgery. He said, I'm not sure if we'll have to take your entire voice box to where you won't be able to speak. He said, but if you refuse to have this surgery, you have 2 weeks to live.
Oh, wow.
He said, you will probably die in your sleep because the tumor is the size of a golf ball.
Oh.
And it is wrapping itself around your vocal cords. So we went to surgery. The doctor told me, whatever you want to say to your family, say it now, because I'm not sure if you'll ever be able to talk again.
Oh, man.
My little girl was there with her piggy tails, and my son was there, my mom, my sisters, my brothers. So I went around the room and I told each of them, I love you. And I remember looking at my little girl and my little boy and telling them, not knowing if that was the last time, that Daddy loved them. Thankfully, they were able to only take half of my voice box. I have 1 vocal cord instead of 2. I have half of a larynx. Throat cancer, it changed me, but I refuse to let it define me. Cancer, I always say, I didn't have cancer. Cancer had me. And cancer didn't know what it ran into when it got a hold of me. And I beat it. And after I recovered, I had to do something to support my family. Prior to my lawn care business, I was a law enforcement officer. And it's hard to give loud verbal commands when you can't talk loud. So out of fear of shooting somebody just because they couldn't hear me was enough to get me to resign off of the sheriff's department. And I started a lawn care business with 1 customer. Today, we serve 142 customers on a weekly basis.
Wow.
So I refused to let cancer define me. It changed me, but it did not defeat me.
That's incredible, Andy. It seems like through it all, like you weren't one to complain about it either, right? You just kind of you kind of all joy, and sometimes you just got to roll through some of the punches, though, right? Because I mean, if you listen to the Lawn Hustle podcast, guys, Andy's got great wisdom bombs and truths, but he never complains. I mean, sometimes I'll approach it because Greg and we have banter, so we complain about stuff, or I personally complain to Greg through text messages about what I hate about the job. But it seems like through it all, your wife was very supportive too, but you probably never got up there and just complained and just said, "Woe is me."
Well, I try to find the positive in everything because there is positives even when you're going through negative situations, when you're struggling, when you're having hard times. There's still positives in those hard times. And if you can take the positives and learn a lesson, it'll help you the next time you go through a battle. You know, Rocky Marciano, late in his career, he signed the number one contender. The contender weighed more, had a further reach, and he was stronger. But the fight came. Rocky lost every round until the last round. The contender dropped his guard for 1 minute, and Rocky Marciano landed one punch, and the contender went down for the count. They flooded the ring. They said, "How did you do it?" He weighed more. He had a further reach. He's younger. Rocky Marciano said, "I knew if I could land one good punch, that's all it would take." So when you get knocked down, you just got to be determined to get back up.
Be able to give that one punch.
And get in that one good punch.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've had my struggles, and I'll be honest with you. There have been times, because we all go through it, where I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. But what would I do? You know, I've been through too much to give up now. I've seen too many victories and too many successes and too many gains to give up now. And if I would throw in the towel right now and give up, what does it profit a man if he gained the whole world, you know, and lose his soul? Or what would it profit me if I would gain everything that I have in my business, 140 clients, a nice shop, nice equipment? What would it gain me if I just give up on all of that and just threw in the towel? I would lose everything. And it's not worth losing at all. You know, they can't eat you.
They're pulling that from Scripture, Andy. It's great. You know, it's in Mark, towards the end of Mark, you know, and calling the crowd to him with his disciples, he said to them, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake on the gospels will save it. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? For what can a man give in return for his soul? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him the Son of Man will be ashamed when he comes in glory with his Father and Holy. That's you're hitting the nail on the head there. I mean, what do you think about that, Greg?
Yeah, it's an amazing story, and you know, just to hear, you know, my daughter for Christmas last year got me this gift, and it's called Storyworth. I don't know if you've heard of it. And what you do is they ask you a question, and then they then you answer it. And the most recent question I got from her, or one of them, was, "Who are your heroes?" And it's funny because I never really got into the hero thing, into the hero worship. But my response was basically that, and basically I said, I never really looked at it. I looked at my mom because she raised 5 kids. My dad died when I was 6. And my mom had to raise 5 kids. Peter Falk, I enjoyed him as an actor because Peter Falk had an artificial eye. I have an artificial eye. We both lost our eyes to the same cancer. and I said that I really and I enjoyed him. Columbo was a great show. It was just a fun show to watch. But he went on to have a very successful career. And I said Jim Abbott was a pitcher born with one hand, if you remember him in the MLB, threw a no hitter as a New York Yankee with one hand. And then even my neighbor, we've got a girl that lives behind us or lived behind us, and she was probably about 3 years old. She wound up in a wheelchair, and it didn't stop her. She was valedictorian of her class. She got a full ride scholarship to Central Michigan. She traveled around the world while she was doing some summer classes, and then she got her education, got her master's degree. Now she has a successful business. So the people I look at, and even you, I look at those kind of people as my heroes, the people that didn't let their circumstances get in the way. And so that's a neat story that you told us, Andy. And while it's hard to hear somebody to have to go through that, to me it's amazing. Those are the kind of people that I look up to. Those are the heroes in my life.
Well, I wouldn't wish this on anybody. It was terrible. I was sick for 3 years, had 10 surgeries. I was never out of the hospital for more than 3 weeks for 3 years.
Wow.
Because when I would try to swallow, I would aspirate because I hadn't learned how to swallow.
Yeah.
And so, it was a terrible thing to go through. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But you can get better or you can get bitter. And I chose to get better.
Yeah. Yeah,
the main thing is just to keep the main thing the main thing.
That's right. And God brought you through it. God's given you a testimony. He's given you the opportunity to be able to tell your story and to, in a sense, walk other people through some of the difficulties they might have. And that's what's amazing. And it's, while it's hard, and I wouldn't, like you said, I wouldn't wish this on anyone. You've done it, and you've carried through. You've worked your way through it, and God's given you an opportunity, and that's all we ask is for God to give us opportunities, and hopefully you get an opportunity to share that. And Evan and I have talked before. We've had opportunities to share with our clients, or or at least pray with our clients, and hopefully you've even gotten those opportunities as well.
Absolutely. Had a lady come out. I shut the mower off, and she said, "I know you are a Christian man and a man of faith." She said, "I want to ask you to pray for me. I'm going through some sickness." I got off my mower, took her both hands, and said, "Let's pray right now." You see, when those situations present themselves, you got to take full advantage of them. And because I prayed for her right then and right there on her driveway, it went beyond just a customer. It went beyond just a lady that I mow for.
Yeah.
It built a friendship. It built a relationship. And, she's one of my most loyal and most faithful customers today still. I've been mowing her property for the last 15 years.
You know what's powerful with that, Andy, is that your customer just went out and he says she's like, "Oh, I knew you were a Christian man," and then you just knew just to pray. It's like, oh man, it kind of convicts me. I should probably have more of my customers, Greg, and you would say, I guess more should know that we're believers. And I thought I'd do a pretty good job through just banter and conversation, and even through customer emails. I try to mention things that could pertain to being a Christian, just praying and things like that. But that's probably a humbling experience for you, because she came to you, to pray, and you stopped all that you did and just did it right there.
Yeah, I think sometimes we get so busy in our lives and in our businesses that we forget how to live life, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
And, I could have said, "Well, sure, I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you tonight." I got to finish your yard. I got to trim. I got to blow off your driveway. But I took an extra 2 minutes and held her hands. And Lord, whatever she's going through, I know you're able to touch her. You've touched my body. You've given me strength. You've given me health. I might talk like I have the flu all the time, but I'm healthy. And you've done it for me. You can do it for her. You've done it before. You can do it again. You've done it in other places. You can do it right here, right now. And God did touch her, and she got better.
That's great. Amen. Well, remember too that Moses said, "Hey, I don't speak well, or I don't talk good," and
I don't talk good.
I don't talk good, and use my brother. And God said, "No, I'm using you, and we're doing this together." And just because your voice isn't there, the way you'd like it to be, God's using you, and He's given you a voice, and that voice is you, and that voice can turn into Him as well. So keep at it, and that's one of the great things about God is He can do so many different things, and He can take guys like us and be a blessing. I've had opportunities to share with a couple of, or not share with, but pray with a couple of clients, and they've been really happy. And they've been, I think they're surprised when I just say, "Hey, let's pray right now," and it's amazing, and hopefully it gives me a light. And you were talking earlier, Evan, about telling, I want to put a sign up on my truck that says I'm a believer, but then I think everybody's going to want me to break into the Monkees song. I'm not sure.
That's actually pretty funny.
I'm a believer. I couldn't.
It's funny, Andy. Yeah, you think about Moses. He didn't want to, represent Israel and be like, like God chose him. And the Lord's like, Moses said, "Hey, I am not of eloquent speech." And he's like, "Son, like have my brother." And then like the Lord's like, "No, I will be with your mouth." Just because, sure, it sounds like you're whispering. I feel like I just stutter and stammer through everything. So just because you not be able to speak clearly, you can still be wise with your words. I mean, check out, like, you went from being a cop because you couldn't yell. Like I get that, but you have a lawn care empire. You have near 140 clients. Who do you have? I'm sorry if I never pay attention. Who else works with you? Because I know you can't mow 140 by yourself in 1 week.
Well, I have a full-time employee.
Okay.
And I have a deputy sheriff that works part-time. And I have a city police officer that works part-time for me.
Oh,
so on their days off from law enforcement, they work for professional lawn maintenance.
Do they do like 12 on? Will they do
Yes.
a 12-hour shift? Okay. I didn't know if police did that as well. So, because I know I had looked at going to work at a local hospital in the winter, and they wanted to pay me $12 an hour to work a 12-hour shift. I'm going, I pay guys more than that myself, and you guys make $1 billion a year, and I pay guys more than that if I have somebody help me out. But it was also a 12-hour shift, and I'm going, I don't know if I can do a 12-hour shift. I got a dog at home that can't be by itself for 12 hours, so I didn't want to come home to many different surprises in my carpet.
Or just gonna, that's just funny.
Well, just after that lovely, eloquent story that Andy told us, then Evan follows up with that. Nice, Evan. Yeah, very good.
Andy, that's great. So these guys, yeah, Aaron Sutter says, "Yep, hospitals don't pay the little guys very well." Yep, I mean, Aaron was a phlebotomist for years, and I thought some aspects he liked, and then some he didn't like. So that's why he launched it into the lawn world. I had forgot that you'd mentioned you got part of the force working for you, Andy. That's nice that you still have that network and that connection with those guys, and at least they're being loyal. If you're able to, hover around, I would say 141 lawns or whatever it was. That's pretty good. And I just assume, Andy, you probably cut bigger lawns than I do, because my lawns aren't like very big. I had my brother help me today, Greg. So my brother, he went to seminary at the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in Louisville. So he moved back up home. He's looking for a job. My brother used to mow with me back in the day, and he helped me out yesterday because we had rain. Then he helped me out today, and we knocked out 30. But so I've seen some of your pictures, Andy. You got some pretty big lawns, don't you?
Yes, we do. We have a ratio of about 60-40, 60% residential, 40% commercial. And we have 2 churches that take us about 3.5 hours to mow them.
Oh,
And then you have to get off and trim. And then by the time you blow off the parking lot, it's a big job. But when I have 2 or 3 guys with me and I have 3 mowers running and 1 guy trimming while we're mowing, it kind of speeds up the process. But I do have some large properties.
When you're doing the blow, are you using backpack blowers on those big parking lots, or do you use the those walk behinds? What are you doing on that?
We have the backpack blowers that we use, the Steel BR 800s.
Okay, because I was just talking to somebody the other day where they were, we were talking about doing cleanups, and I'm trying to think of what model it is, what they sell for those giant blowers that people will walk behind, and it just, makes basically a wind tunnel. And I wonder how that would work for you on a big parking lot like that. And then I have a follow-up question associated with that is, but do you think that would work for you well there?
I have tried the walk behind blowers before,
Uh-huh.
and it does work well, but I think I can control the debris better with the backpack blower. I can get it to go where I need it to versus the walk behind where it just blows and it just goes, all over the place.
Okay. All right. I was wondering about that. And then the other question is when you quoted that was, and I just had this happen with one, actually, Evan, you helped me on a cleanup at this one, a spring cleanup, the dental office. The guy called me up one day and said, Greg, you're not blowing off the parking lot? I said, no. And he says, well, why not? I said, because I never quoted cleaning up the parking lot. And I said, all I quoted you was for mowing, and he wants me to blow off the parking lot now. And I said, look, the first couple weeks, it's going to take me 30 minutes to do this because there's so much debris in the parking lot. Yeah, it's a big lot. I think he was expecting me to do it for nothing. And I said, no, I got to charge her for this. But when you quoted that, was that, I would assume that you considered that in your quote as well, the blowing off the parking lot?
Yes, I did. When I give an estimate for a commercial property, everything gets a charge. I charge for mowing. I add some for the level of difficulty for trimming. If they have a chain link fence, if they have more than 5 trees, if there's a lot of flowers or flower beds or rock beds, I charge more for that. And then cleaning off the parking lot, if they want me to just blow around the edges where I might have got a little bit of grass, then I charge less for blowing. If they want the whole parking lot blowed off, then it's going to cost them a whole lot more money.
Okay. All right. And you know how to deal with those flowers that come up. Just don't leave them there.
Just trim them down.
Just take them out. Actually, that's how I got a new customer because the client called me up and said, these guys aren't doing a good job. I wound up picking up a new client because the previous guys took out some of their flowers. She had just planted them, and then the guy went about 10 feet and took out all their flowers. So that's how I got a new client. And so, but associated with that is now I get the story where people want me to trim their beds. And I said, no, I don't trim in beds because I don't have time to look to see if you have flowers or not, or if you just planted them, but there's no buds on them yet, and I take them out, then you're going to be mad at me. And I just tell them that's how I got a new client because the other guy took out all their flowers. So no, I don't trim beds.
Yeah, bed maintenance. Bed maintenance is completely a different charge. I'm not touching a flower bed unless they pay me to touch the flower bed. It's not included in mowing.
No. How do you charge for that? Do you
Yeah.
do flower beds?
I have a few customers that I maintain a flower bed up front. I charge them for when we come in and we hand pull the weeds. I charge them my per man hour rate. If we spray, we charge additional for the chemical. But I only do a few of the bed maintenance. But I had one customer that called me and said, "Well, why aren't you weeding my flower bed?" I said, "Because you never asked me to, number one, and you're not paying me to, number two. So if you want me to, then here's the price it's going to cost you every time I touch your flower bed. If not, the price is what it is. It's for mowing, trimming, and blowing."
So you charge
funny
by
you
the
say
man
that.
hour. You don't charge by the foot. I've heard some guys charge by the foot or linear foot. I'm not sure how they do
Yeah.
it, but
I had a client. It's funny you
Yeah,
said
if
that.
when
Sorry,
the
go on.
beds are small enough, I just charge by the man hour
okay.
instead of by the foot because I can make a little extra money.
Okay.
I should have learned from Andy's charging back in the day. Andy, it's funny. It sounds like you really price it out, and this is probably, oh man, when was this? 6-7 years ago. Picked up this client. It was his house and his mom. He was a nice guy. He at least paid on time. Kind of a little bit of a tool bag. That's a nice way to pull it. And he would subtly ask, "Hey, when you're done mowing and stuff and getting everything done, just spend 5 minutes and pull some of the big weeds that you see." And he just 5 minutes. He just randomly like here and there, and I would sometimes like just pull like a major one, but then he just got mad and eventually fired us. But it turns out that he goes through different lawn services, and then like 2 years later, like he tried calling me back to get me back. I just blew him off. I'm like, I'm not bothering with that. It's like I even told him up front, I don't pull weeds. Like I don't do that. I would a whole different separately hourly rate for that. I'd probably do $100 an hour just to pull weeds, and I probably wouldn't even. I mean, I could do it if I really put that's backbreaking, and then some people can probably be really good at doing it, but then others, I just kind of just don't. I hate it. I don't like doing it.
Yeah, I don't have time. I've got one client that I do it for. He pays me well, but I don't. The other clients, I had another client that wanted me to do it, and they wouldn't pay me. They wanted to pay me a kind of a cheap rate, and I did it for a season. And then, what was it, 2 years ago I did it. And then last year, I didn't even do it. They never even asked, nor this year. So this other guy, he pays reasonably. The other people, they were trying to haggle me down, and they want everything for a pretty low price. So I said, no, I don't do weeds. So it's just, and plus I'm by myself, so I don't have time to do that. I don't have deputy sheriffs hovering around me with guns.
That's great.
Well-
No one must mess with those guys, Greg. If there's any sort of crime, they don't try to.
I'm
like,
just
mess
going
with
and
you guys.
shooting them.
Yeah,
or
just
shoot
be
the
like,
weeds.
get out of my trailer.
Do you still shoot, Andy?
Well, I got a whole story about a trailer experience. Yes, I do. I love to go to the range and shoot.
Okay. What do you
I
shoot?
was a marksman on
Oh,
the sheriff's department.
okay.
I got a 223,
Wow.
and I've got several 40 caliber Glocks. I got the 27, the 22. I've got 23. Then I've got some Kimber 911 style pistols. So
Okay. That's pretty
You know
cool.
what we should do, Greg, is have like a little LCBU range session when we all go
We're
down
all
to the
going to be in
expo, right?
Louisville.
Just bring all your. I'll bring my AR-15 that I've shot once. It's all in my closet. I mean, I that was a wedding gift. I know how to use it, but I didn't even think about that. It's good that you're comfortable with the firearms. Like that's a good thing. Andy, bring all your collection down. We'll have a LCBU range competition, Greg. Right? That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
just make sure you keep them in the trunk if you get pulled over. Do you have any weapons? Yes. How
Where
many?
you going? Oh,
Multiple.
Lawn Care Expo.
Yeah, I'm going to the Lawn Care Expo. Hey, speaking of that, we forgot to mention this. a couple of weeks ago, there was that church in over by you, Evan. Is it Wayne, where they had a guy came in?
Yeah, I think it was just a little south. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a guy that I don't know if you heard about that, Andy. The guy came in and he tried to start shooting at the church, and one of the security guards saw the guy, but he shot the security guard. But one of the deacons or elders or somebody was coming in the parking lot, and he hit the guy with his truck. And then the security guard was able to get up and shoot the guy and take him out. But that's something that I forgot about that, Evan. We should have prayed for that a couple weeks ago, and for that church, and for even the churches that these kids were they were doing a Sunday or vacation Bible school. They were finishing something up on a Sunday, and this guy was going in. These kids are going to be sitting ducks, and so that's really important that we're praying for our churches too, that that they have good security systems. Now that we shouldn't have to, but they need to.
Yeah, it's a shame that we live in that kind of world today, where churches have to have armed security. When I grew up, people respected the church. People respected their elders. People respected law enforcement. And it's a different society that we live in right now than when I was growing up. We could play outside and not have to have any worries. Now, you better keep an eye on your kids. Now, you better keep an eye open when you're praying in church, because you never know.
Yeah.
Someone could come in and just start shooting and taking out people for no reason.
There was a few years ago where we had some stuff going on, and I remember in Lansing area, there were people going into the local churches, and homosexual community was going into local churches and throwing flyers around in the middle of a sermon, and that women were going up on stage or on the lectern, and they'd just go up there and kiss each other, and they're just causing disruptions to the point where our church actually wound up hiring sheriff, the county sheriff, to have somebody in there walking around, and they were there for probably 3, 4, 5 months, just making sure that we had somebody in there. So it was sad that we had to do that.
So real quick, Andy, as we're all getting tired, we want to land the plane. Man, a Rodecaster Pro 2. It's your best friend and it's your mortal enemy all at one time. But quickly tell people, which you preach this a lot of times on your podcast. I didn't really think about it. You can time yourself, time your lawns, or you can tell your wife approximately within the half an hour of when you'll be home. When did you really get good and militant at doing that? Because I have general ballpark times. That's because my schedule's been crazy because I can't really time it because I sometimes mow till dark. But when did you kind of get on timing yourself for stuff like that? Because it really makes it shows that you have an organized business.
Well, about 2 years after I started,
Did he mute himself?
I started timing myself because I wanted to get more clients. So I wanted to figure out which days I could add clients to.
Did you lose him, Greg?
So I thought, I'm going to time myself on every property. So I know from the time I back off the trailer and pull back on how long that property takes me. I got one property, it takes me 7 minutes to mow it, trim it, and blow. And I'm back on the trailer going to the next one, which is about half a block up the road. That's a fun one. I've got 7 in Muncie that we mow on Fridays. Well, actually, I mow 23 every Friday in Muncie. But these 7 are on one street.
This is entertaining. Can you hear me, Andy?
Yes.
I'm not sure what happened. I completely lost. Greg, are you there?
I'm here.
I don't know why
Can you hear me?
Too.
I can hear Greg.
Can you
Hello,
hear me,
this is Greg.
I can't hear any of you guys. Sorry. This isn't a great way to
any of us, all 2 of us.
Greg, did you mute yourself somehow on your side of your mic? because that all of a sudden nothing's coming through. This is comedy. I'm glad this is a live stream. I don't know. I haven't touched a single thing to my board. Oh, this is just gold. Oh, wait a minute. What happened here? Hold on. Oh, holy smokes. Here. Try that. You there?
Oh, I can hear you.
You
Are
guys
there?
keep talking. I don't know what happened to me
All
now.
right. Well, we're
Now,
going to keep
now,
talking.
now my board's taking like a crap on me.
Yeah,
Oh,
you go
this
and
is so
insult
discouraging.
Andy's board. So let Andy go ahead and keep talking. I'll
Try it now.
But I was
Go ahead.
saying I've got 7 in Muncie on one street. I pull in about halfway between all 7 of them, and I can mow all 7 of them in an hour and 15 minutes. So in an hour and 15 minutes, I'm making close to $450.
wow.
And it takes me an hour and 15 minutes to do it. But
That's-
it goes back to that route density, knowing how long it's going to take you to get there, how long it's going to take you to get the job completed, and how much it's going to cost you to complete the job. So when I timed myself, now I've got it down. I can look at my schedule every day, and I can know that tomorrow I'll be done at 2:30. And I will do 23 properties, and I'll be done by 2:30.
Wow. Yeah, I wish I could do 7 lawns in an hour and 15 minutes. Evan and I have worked together. We've taken out probably 11. I think we did 11 lawns in about 2.5 hours between the two. How many guys do you have working for you at any given time? Do you have 2, 3, or?
There's at least 2 of us. Some days there's 4 of us.
Okay.
So it just fluctuates depending on what rotation these guys are on and what days they have off during the week or the weekend. Because I don't
Okay.
work on Sunday unless I absolutely have to,
Right.
because I feel like everyone needs a day off. Everyone, in my opinion, should go to church and spend Sunday with their families. We like to go out to eat. We like to spend time together. And unless I've had a lot of rain through the week, I won't work on Sunday.
Right. Okay, good. Well, that's kind of the way I am. Even though I'm solo, I only cut Monday to Thursday and keep Friday for a rain day, which I'm using tomorrow. And because we lost most of yesterday to rain, so I didn't get out until about 2:00, and I think Evan didn't even get out until 3. So
This is comedy, guys. I'm sorry. There's like a firmware update on my board, Andy. I can't hear jack squat. So I missed your golden whole thing about timing everything out. All of a sudden it just did what yours is doing. So I don't know what's going on. So
can you hear us now?
Yeah, I'm tired. We should probably just end this, and I'm frustrated because I can't even talk to you guys now. So yeah, we're just gonna end it, and we're gonna do a live stream. I don't know, maybe we'll do one later on this week, but Monday and Wednesdays. So hope this is not awkwardly ended. But I'm sorry, guys. We will leave you with just me crying. So it's good to know.
All right, thanks.